Welcome back to this special episode of DBL. Today, we are hearing the secrets to living to be 100. And who better to talk to us about leading a healthier life than our very own Dr. Payal Kohli. Welcome to the show, Dr. Kohli.
Okay, so let's start with the hot question everyone debates. What's more important, genetics or diet and lifestyle when it comes to living a longer life?
I want to know this.
It's fascinating. We have made tremendous advances in learning about the science of aging. And we've looked at twins, we've looked at worms, we've looked at monkeys, and what we've realized is about 25% of our longevity, how long we're going to live, is determined by our genetics. About 75% is determined by our lifestyle, our choices. But here's the kicker, guys. What we do in our lifestyle changes our genetics. That's called epigenetics. So it's actually probably more than even that sort of breakdown. And it doesn't seem to be just one gene. It's hundreds and hundreds of genes that really make that recipe for how long you're going to live.
Wow.
I'm fascinated by a lot of this stuff. So is there a way that you could prove medically that we could live longer? And I don't want to put an answer in your head, but does processed food contribute to that as well?
Processed food is poison. In fact, we can probably say very definitively that processed food is causally related to diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease, which will reduce your longevity. So to answer your question, Jeff, in the last several decades, we've already figured out the recipe medically for how to live longer. It includes vaccines and preventive care. It includes antibiotics. It includes clean water and sanitation. And it includes doing all the cancer screenings and all the things that we've talked about on this show. But moving forward, we have that recipe too. It's just a matter of us sort of stepping up to that challenge. It's called Life's Essential 8. And if you do these 8 things, according to the American Heart Association, if you're 50 years old, you can actually extend your lifespan by up to 9 years.
God, I was going to throw away my mac and cheese I was going to make tonight. All right, what are some lifestyle habits that
You're gonna? But you're keeping it now?
Yeah, I'm gonna, it's good still. What are some good...
Should I give you my business card?
Yeah, I need it. I definitely need it. What are some lifestyle changes that are good for your heart and some that are bad?
So what we do on a day-to-day basis, just like we heard about before, determines how long we live. And the goal here is, guys, not just to increase the amount of life that we have, but just as he said, we want to increase the amount of kind of disease-free life that we have. And the way to do that is very simple. Your sleep, so 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Your diet, you heard a lot of good tips about that. Move 30 minutes a day. That can be 3 times a day, 10 minutes at a time, 30 minutes all together. You want to make sure you don't smoke. You want to limit how much binge alcohol you do. You control your blood sugar, your blood cholesterol, and how much fat you have on you. That's the recipe.
Wow. What about heart health? Like, how much does your heart health impact your lifespan, and what are some signs that you have a healthy heart?
You know, we realized it's one of the biggest killers, obviously, of Americans in the U.S. and worldwide. So if we can modify heart health, and we know that 80% of heart attacks and strokes are preventable with these lifestyle changes we talked about, you can completely change the trajectory of your train. And it's really, really remarkable because the power really lies within us. Now, the way that you know you have a healthy heart health, calculate your Life's Essential 8 score. There's also a scoring system that's more medical that tells you what your risk of having a heart attack or stroke in the next 10 years is.
Yikes.
Go ahead and put your numbers in that.
Whoa.
Calculate that so that you know what you're doing. And then on a day-to-day basis, if you're having any trouble, shortness of breath, or any types of symptoms, that might tell you whether or not you have any problems with your heart.
Well, we have about 30 seconds, Dr. Kohli, but I have to ask about mental health because we want to know how it contributes to our life expectancy.
You know, this is something we haven't appreciated much in the past, but now we're realizing that if you have a serious mental illness, it can actually reduce your life expectancy by 10 to 20 years.
Wow.
And we talked about social interaction. People who are lonely, there's a study out of the UK that tells us that's the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Wow.
So social interaction, human relationships, keeping ourselves happy,
Community.
working on that stress, because stress affects our DNA, which can affect our longevity. It is so critically important, guys.
Wow.
Good stuff. Tori, it was good working with you.
Yeah, I'm like worried about
life
everything. Saving information.
Really,
Dr. Kohli, thank you so much for joining us and giving us all this helpful information. DBL Nation, be sure to follow Dr. Kohli on social media at Payal Kohli MD. Thank you again. Doc, we'll be right back.